Hello, good morning, or wherever you're watching from, whatever time of the day it is. Hello. Just getting set up, checking my view for class. Still trying to figure out this whole entire YouTube thing, so please bear with me. Good morning, Jody. Since you're on to, what do you need today? Take just a couple of minutes before we get started here. All right. Well, I've got some plans for yoga today, so we'll do what we do and it will all work out. If you're just joining in, go ahead and allow yourself to get into a comfortable seat on the mat. We're going to start out with some breath. I like to really get people into their bodies by beginning to meet their breath, allowing yourself to see where we're able to open up and become friends with our breath, create trust with our breath so that our body can go even a little bit deeper. So cross-legged, seated on the floor, comfortable position. Maybe you have a block or a prop underneath you. And this will allow you to really just sink into the mat, begin to focus and notice on your breath. And I'll join you back here. Hands gently placed on the knees, either palms facing down for grounding or palms facing up to receive. Allow your eyes to gently fall to a close. And as they do, begin to notice where your breath is at this morning. Doing a scan of your body from tips of your toes all the way up to the crown of the feet, tight, tense, locked up, that need a little bit of attention today. Continuing to breathe, just notice those areas. Feeling the sensation of the air as it enters into your nostrils, filling up your whole entire body. As you exhale, equally noticing how it feels on the way out. We've officially made it to Saturday morning, so you can definitely be grateful for that today. But when you're breathing right now, allow yourself to think of a handful of things that you're grateful for in your life in this moment today. Is where we normally tend to breathe. So if you notice your hand rises when you breathe up on your chest, we're going to move our air down into our belly. Our belly is going to expand like a balloon, inflate and come out. And as we exhale, our hand is going to come back towards our spine, bringing your belly button in and up. Inhale, it expands. Exhale, it comes back towards your spine. Your hand on your chest stays exactly where it is and doesn't move a whole lot. So if you notice that your breath is practicing moving down into your belly, that is why we have our hands here to guide us. So as you're inhaling, breathing a little bit deeper, your belly expands and rises, and as you exhale, it comes right back in. So go ahead and take some rounds of breath here, expanding and contracting, focusing on longer, smooth inhales, followed by equally smooth, same length exhales. Turning your intention inside, letting everything else in your world fall away for just this next hour. It will be there when you get done, I promise you that. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't, I'm not sure. But either way, we have the next hour to go ahead and sink into your practice, explore your body, deepen your breath, and bring you some inner peace. Continue to breathe deep into your belly, expand, inhale, and exhale. If you feel like you have the hang of it and you want to bring your hands back to your knee and you know your belly is going to be rising when you inhale, allow your hands to gently come back to your knees, continuing to breathe deep into your belly, creating a little bit more space. Maybe you lengthen your inhale and your exhales by 1 second. Filling yourself all the way up and letting everything out. Another variation you can add into this breath, if you'd like to practice something else, is you'll go ahead and you'll inhale deep, 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 as deep as you can. Pause at the top for just a beat, and then exhale. Pause at the bottom. Inhale, fill up deep. Inhale. Pause at the top. Exhale. Pause at the bottom. Inhale, belly rises. Pause. Exhale, empty out. Pause. So you can incorporate this pause into your belly breath if you like to move into a different type of breathing, noticing the calm and the stillness that is in the pause at the tops of our breath and the bottom of our breath. It's a neat space to explore. So if you are in that space of exploration today, feel free to use that variation throughout your practice. Even when we start doing our poses, we're going to come back to this deep belly breathing. So continue to practice as you inhale, your belly rises out. And as you exhale, your belly falls back towards your spine. It's almost like a little bit of more of a core way to breathe, as opposed to sometimes how we can really breathe a lot more shallow just from our lungs and from our chest. So it might feel backwards, it might feel awkward. Maybe you've done it before, maybe you do it and you forget about it. So wherever you're at, just notice that and allow that to be okay for right now. It will be our focus for our practice today. Take 2 more full inhales as deep as you can, really filling up, creating as much space in your internal body. And as you exhale, empty all the air right back out, letting it all go. Maybe you have an HA sound. Inhale. And exhale. If your hands are not already at your knees, allow them to meet there. Begin to return back to your normal breath. Checking in with yourself, noticing how you feel just by taking a few minutes to breathe. Breathe deep, breathe inside, and notice. We're beginning to clear our internal space, removing the noise and the distraction from outside, really coming inside to discover what we're here to discover today about ourselves. Before we begin our postural portion of our practice today, we're going to set an intention. The question of the day, the question of most practices that I tend to lead is, what brings you to your mat today? Of all of the things you could be doing, places you could be going, or people that you could be spending time with, you chose to come to this space, your mat right here today. What brings you to your mat today? After you go ahead and set your intention, allow yourself to make your way to standing. However you get there is wonderful. Take your time, go slow, be safe. From standing, we'll meet at the top of your mat. We're going to do a standing warm-up today. I've done a lot of seated warm-ups throughout this week, and I'll tend to vary it throughout just so that people have different variety. We'll be offering yoga classes pretty close to daily here, live streams, so that you guys have access to be able to breathe and move and live in your life as we're going through a more chaotic time in our society. So I'm going to have you go ahead and reach your arms all the way up, bringing hands to heart center right here. Interlacing your fingers, keeping your pointer fingers towards the sky. Reach all the way up. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to lean to our right side, reaching up and out, creating a stretch all the way through our arm, side body, all the way down to our hip. Feet nice and grounded. Keeping your bottom arm as straight as you can. If there's a bend, it's okay. If your shoulders are kind of pointing down towards the floor, slowly begin to breathe and open your chest, shining up towards the sky. Head neutral in between your biceps. Continue to breathe and reach. Lengthen. Connecting back to our belly breath. As you inhale, your belly expands. As you exhale, your belly comes back towards your spine. Notice how this feels as you're bent to the side. Inhaling back to center. As you reach up once again, your exhale will take you over to the left. Again, setting up from your feet, shooting your fingers up and out as you lean towards the side. If your hips are really leaning over, well, them could be where they are. Maybe bring them back in and you come out just a little ways. Key is we're getting our stretch right here. Rolling our shoulders open, chest shining towards the sky. Breathing into your belly, focusing on your breath, keeping your core tight. Inhale brings us back to center, arms come out to the side. Thumbs pointing up towards the sky. We're going to take the gentle twist. So let's bring our feet hip distance apart before we start. So go ahead and bring your heel into your arch, turning your foot back parallel. This brings us to our hip distance apart. Sometimes we can get a little narrow or we can get a little wide. So heel into your arch, turning your foot back parallel. Arms come out. Thumbs pointed towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen through your spine, lift through your chest. As you exhale, we're going to twist towards the right hand side. So if your hips are coming all the way over and you're like this, try to keep your hips completely parallel to the front of your mat and you're twisting from your core, not your hips. So just kind of check in. Maybe you put your hands on your hips so you can feel them and you just twist with your elbows. This is another variation you can use. If you then want to add in your elbow or your arms, go ahead. Inhale, breathe into your belly. Exhale, deflate. One more breath. Inhale, coming back to center. Arms still out wide, or if it really was supportive, go ahead and place your hands on your hips so you can go ahead and do your left side. Keeping your hips parallel to the top edge of your mat, go ahead and take it over to the left. Incorporate the arms when you're ready. Moving our air from our chest into our belly. Breathing full, still working on creating that space as we warm up. Our inhale brings us back to the center. We're going to gently fold forward. Allow yourself just to dive here Reaching down towards your toes, letting your head hang heavy. Crown of your head comes right down to the face the floor. You can let your arms just hang. If you'd like a block or a prop, you can also place something under your hands if you're still kind of warming up in your body. As you inhale, allow your belly to rise. Exhale, fall towards the spine. Keeping in mind that every pose we do today, we're going to use that same belly breath. This will be a breath heavy focus. Your inhale, you're slowly going to rise up, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, going nice and slow, rising all the way back up. Placing your hands at your sacrum, fingertips pointing down. We're going to take just a little gentle back bend. Tuck your tailbone down towards the earth, chin neutral. As you inhale, exhale, you slowly push your hips forward, leaning back slightly. Maybe your chin goes up towards the sky. You can also focus on trying to think your elbows closer together. I'll help support your lower back a little bit, keeping your core nice and tight so we're not just like hanging out here. Want to keep everything nice and tight. Try to breathe into your belly, expand. Exhale, bringing your belly button in and up towards your core. You'll feel a little bit different. Inhale, bringing your chin back to your chest, coming to full standing. Hands on your hips. We're going to do some body rolls. So you can really go ahead and move your hips as far out to the side as you want. Maybe you add in some arms. Maybe like just right here. So really opening up all planes of our body. Getting our joints flowing. Go ahead and go the other direction. Maybe it feels like you're hula hooping a little bit. I don't know, has anyone done that in a while? I thought that was fun as a kid. All right, find yourself back at neutral. Bringing ourselves to the top of the mat. We're going to do a little bit of some slow sun salutation movements before we get into our practice. Just to keep on that warm up, I really like to give everybody a good warm up, especially since I can't see you. Warm-ups are really important, so do go slow. If you already have a practice, feel free to take it at your pace, take any variation. If you need to modify, I'll also be demonstrating those as well. The top of our mat, we're going to inhale, rise our arms all the way tall, reach, reach, reach here. Bringing our hands to meet, go ahead and take that slight back bend. And exhale, fold forward. Hands to your shins, go ahead, inhale to our flat back. Our hands to come to the floor, stepping into your high plank. You can take this variation or allow your knees to come down if you'd like to be gentle today. Exhale, tuck your elbows in, slowly lower down. Inhale with your hands underneath your shoulders, tucking your elbows back in. Let's take baby cobra for a couple breaths. So your bottom of your rib cage may still be touching the floor. If you'd like to just check in with how your lower back is working, allow your hands to rise 1 inch off of the floor. You'll then feel how this pose is working in your lower back. Placing the hands back on the floor, tuck your toes, bend your knees, coming into tabletop for a pause. Send your hips to the sky, find yourself in downward dog. Pedal out your legs here, opening up the backs of your hamstrings. Continuing to melt your chest towards your thighs. Feeling all 4 corners of your hands grounded, rooted into the floor. Sending your hips a little bit higher, melting a little bit more. Continue to surrender into your downward dog for just 2 more breaths. Inhale. Pausing, finding stillness. Your next inhale, you'll rise all the way up to your toes, nice and high. As you exhale, walk yourself towards the top of the mat. Hands coming in between, your feet coming in between your hands. Let's take our halfway lift, rise up here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to meet at the top. Exhaling, coming right to our heart center. Inhale, all the way up again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, hands on the ground, high plank. Option again, take it from your knees, lowering yourself all the way down to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra, or maybe you take up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, send your hips all the way up, meeting in down dog. Allow your head to shake, no releasing any tension that you may be holding in your neck and shoulders right now. Connecting back to your belly breath, breathing deep, expanding. Exhale, deflate, send your hips a little higher. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fall. Your next inhale will bring you up to your toes as you make your way to the top of the mat. Exhale. Inhale, find your halfway lift. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bringing your toes together to meet, either like this with a little space in between your heels. We're going to take chair pose. So your toes will come together, your heels will be apart. If that feels a little unstable for you, go ahead and take that heel into your inner arch, turning your foot back parallel. Give yourself a little bit wider of a base. You can sit back right from here. Gives you a little bit more stability. Go ahead and take whichever variation of chair you'd like. Inhale, your arms come all the way up. Go ahead and wiggle your toes to connect your heels deeper into the earth. Make sure you're sitting back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands come down, high plank. Elbows grazing your rib cage, lower yourself down. Inhale, let's take up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, meeting in down dog. Inhale, right heel comes all the way up to the sky. Exhale, in between your hands, finding yourself coming up into a warrior one. Your back heel comes down at a 45, rising your arms all the way up. Front knee is in a 90-degree bend. Couple deep, full belly breaths here. Come down to frame your foot, finding high plank. Exhale, lower yourself down slowly. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left heel comes up to the sky. As you exhale, find your way in between your hands, rising up once again, warrior one. Remembering that back foot up. Pull your biceps back towards your ears if your hands are kind of in front. Shoot them straight up. Breathe into your belly, connecting back to your intention, what brings you to your mat today. Exhale, hands float down towards the floor, high plank. And inhale here, and then your exhale will take you back down, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Two full breaths here. Inhale, rise to your toes. Exhale, top of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Exhale, empty out all your air. Inhale, find your chair. Hands sweep all the way up. Let's take 3 breaths here. Expand and deflate. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come to heart center. At the top of your mat, we're going to move into a little bit of balance, rooting down into your right foot. We're going to start with tree, so a couple of variations I'm going to talk you through is we'll start out by just doing a kickstand. So your toe is balancing on the floor, ankles and heel come together. Hands can stay at heart center. So if this is a new pose to you, this is a wonderful place to start. If your balance is feeling a little shaky, this is a great place to come to. You can also bring your heel, your left heel into your right calf muscle. So this would be your next variation. If you have tree in your practice, your left heel can also come to the inner right thigh. So whatever variation feels good, allow yourself to go there. You might progress as time goes on, as your breath and your body become friends. You might want to try something a little different. So if you start somewhere, know you can always keep moving into the modification or variation that you want in your practice today. While we're in our tree pose, I want you to tuck your tailbone down towards the earth, so draw your belly in and up. And I want you to think about opening up your hips. So if your knee is really coming forward, see if you can open up, flatten out here. Maybe place your hands here just to feel it out, see how it is. You want to kind of think about your knee coming towards the back of the mat. Hands can stay at heart center, or you can inhale them all the way up. Taking any expression in the arms. Maybe you move, maybe your branches dance and flow in the wind. This is your place to stay, your place to play. Inhaling deep into your belly, expand. Exhale, contract. Hands come back to heart center from wherever you are. Exhale, left foot comes down to the mat. Pedal it up. Opposite side, I won't have as many cues, so I'll do more breathing on this side. I just wanted to talk you through different ways to get into tree. So go ahead and take your variation 1, 2, or 3. Bringing yourself into tree pose, tucking your tailbone down, opening up your hips. Notice we're starting from the ground, building our foundation all the way up. Now adding in our arms, flowing into our expression. Feel all 4 corners of your foot contacting the floor and the mat, rooting you deeper into the ground. all as you're breathing into your belly. Inhale, hands come back together. Exhale, heart center if you're not already here. Allow your foot to come back down to the mat. Pedal it up. Expanding on this, we're going to take a little bit more of challenging pose here. So if you would like to grab a chair or anything like that, or place yourself near a wall or something to prop yourself up on, you absolutely can. If you feel good about your balance, you can stay right where you are. Rooting down through our right foot again. We're going to bring our left knee to a 90-degree bend. Flex in the toe. Thigh parallel to the mat. Hands at your hips. Hips level. So if you notice that your hips are kind of compensating, you're tipping to one side to find your balance, see if you can come back to nice and level. You can stay right here if this is where your edge is today, or you can bring your left hand to your left knee and open up your left knee. For balance, your right arm might come out to the side, or you can continue to stay right here at your hip. If it's in your practice, you also might grab a toe or the outer edge of your foot, extend your leg out, and open from here. In your practice, you get to decide how far, how deep you want to go. If you're new, hang out right here with me. Even if your leg isn't at parallel and you need to start a little bit lower, we're opening up our hip and working on our balance. So this is a great variation too, nice modification. 2 more breaths. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, fall. Inhale, expand. Exhale, fall. Bringing your knee back to center. Exhale the foot to the floor. Walk it out. You might start feeling this in your glutes a little bit. Your foot, your calf, your leg might start to feel a little bit tired because we're not used to just standing on one foot all the time. So this is a great way to just kind of work into different balancing postures. We can all use a little bit of balance in our life. So this is a great way to practice on our mat. Take it off the mat into our leg. Coming up to your left foot, ground into the floor. Feel all 4 corners of your foot rooted into the earth. Hands placed at your hips. Inhale, right leg comes to 90-degree bend. With a flex in your foot, almost as if you're just taking a step up. Right hand comes to your right knee. Exhale, open your hip. Left arm can come out to the side for more balance. Or you can keep your hand at your hip. Keeping the chest lifted. Two more breaths. Inhale into your belly. And exhale. Finding that inhale. Maybe you add that pause to the top. And exhale. Pausing at the bottom. Inhale, knee back to center. Exhale, foot meets left foot on the floor. Pedaling it out. Staying at the top of your mat, your right foot is going to stay forward. Your left foot is going to step back, not quite as far as your downward dog. You want something a little bit wider than shoulder distance. Your back foot is going to be a little bit less than a 45-degree angle, pointing towards your front foot at the top of the mat. Hips facing the top edge parallel. Arms are going to come all the way up. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward, allowing your hands to come to your shins or maybe the block. If you have blocks, you can also hang out right here. If accessible to you, you can bring your hands all the way to the floor. You want to keep a nice flat back here and level hips. So turn your left hip down towards the floor as you fold here. As we open up the back of our legs, breathe in here. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. So allow yourself to get as comfortable as you can in this position, which is maybe why blocks are kind of nice, just so you have something extra to support with. But if you don't have any props, don't worry, it's okay. We can still keep doing yoga. As you focus on drawing your left hip down towards the floor, keeping a nice flat back, inhaling deep into your belly, expand. Exhale, surrender. As we breathe here, you'll start to notice your body softens, and as it does, we're actually releasing, opening up our muscles and getting a little bit deeper. This is helping us to find our edge in this posture. So when we start, when our muscles are pulled, we're not as loose. It sometimes feels like that, oh, kind of hurt. And not like bad hurt where you're going to have an injury, but just like you haven't warmed up. So as we breathe, our friend becomes our breath, and our breath begins to open our muscle. And as we inhale, we expand, and as we exhale, we surrender a little bit deeper. So all of a sudden, you might find your hands getting closer to the floor. You might find yourself opening in this pose a little bit deeper than you were able to before we first started. So continue to breathe and explore inside your body. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. Maybe you add the pause in at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath. Inhale, place your hands on your hips, tightening your core. Inhale, rise yourself back to standing. Go ahead and turn both feet towards the long edge of your mat, whichever direction you need to still be seeing me. If you like, you can stay here. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold. So if you'd like to go a little bit wider, maybe you take 1 step out just to widen your base a little bit more. With your hands on your hips, we're going to gently fold forward, sending our hips behind us, keeping our back nice and flat. If your shoulders are coming forward, open up. So maybe you put your arms out to the side so you feel nice and level. As you get to your halfway point, allow your hands to come and graze the floor. A couple of different variations you can take in this pose. You can stay right here, keeping your hands in the middle. Maybe you walk your hands out behind you, reaching a little bit further. Maybe you place your hands behind your heels and pull yourself head towards the floor. Or your elbows, your hands can grasp the outer edges of your elbows, and maybe you sway here side to side. We'll be here for a few breaths, so maybe you try a couple different variations, or whichever one feels good, hang out there. Stillness is also perfectly wonderful. As you inhale, your belly expands. Exhale, belly falls towards your spine. Remember our belly breath, no matter what pose you're in, no matter how challenging it is, allow that to be part of your practice today. Our inhale expands us. Our exhale allows us to surrender just a bit deeper. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. Inhale with a pause at the top. Exhale with a pause at the bottom. Your inhale, your hands will come back to your hips, tightening up your core, making your back nice and flat. Push through your heels as you rise yourself back up to standing nice and slow. You're just upside down, so go nice and slow. If you feel dizzy, hold on to something. Take your time, breathe for just a couple beats here. You want to be mindful of any time our head is below our heart. Then we really take our time going nice and slow, coming back up. Our left foot is now going to come towards the top of the mat. We're going to bring our step halfway back in if we moved out a little bit wider, bringing both hips parallel to the top edge of the mat facing forward. Our back foot is not quite at 45, but it's slightly closer to pointing towards the top of the mat. They're not completely parallel, so find what feels comfortable. Inhale, your arms come out in front of you, drawing your shoulders down and back. As you exhale, you hinge forward at the hips and fold your arms down to meet wherever they're going to reach, either at your shin, maybe you have blocks. If your hamstrings and the backs of your legs are nice and open, the floor might be accessible to you. Remembering to bring your right hip now down towards the floor. Back leg is straight. Breathing here. Inhale to expand, exhale to surrender. Turning your right hip down just a little bit more. Nice flat back. Exhale, surrender. Let's take 2 more breaths. Allow yourself to find your edge. After your second exhale, your hands will come back to your hips, creating a nice flat back. Allow yourself to slowly rise back up to standing. Turning both feet parallel to the long edge of your mat again, or facing the edge of your mat. That would be perpendicular. Go ahead and take your 1 extra step if you'd like a wider base. We're going to do 1 more round of our wide leg forward fold. So bring your arms all the way out to the side, drawing your shoulders down and away from your ears. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Pausing halfway. Allow your hands to meet the floor. Take a different variation than you did from your last round. Exploring in your body a little bit deeper. We'll be here for just a few breaths. Inhale, expand. Exhale, surrender. Take 1 more full deep round of breath, pausing at the top, pausing at the bottom. Inhale, hands to hips. Rise yourself all the way up. Turn your heels in just slightly so your toes are kind of pointing out. We're going to do one round of goddess pose here. So how we're going to do is we're going to put a bend in our knees, pushing them out towards our toes as we sit back. Draw your belly button in towards your spine to lift your chest. Arms come out to goalpost arms. Thumb and forefinger can come to touch, making the OK symbol. Breathing, expanding into your belly. Exhale, let it all out. Empty out. This pose has a little bit more power, a little bit more heat to it. Really inhale, expand, exhale, maybe sink just a little deeper. Belly expands. As you exhale, belly button comes back in towards your spine. One more round of breath here. Pause at the top. Exhale. Pause at the bottom. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, bring your legs back to meet in the middle. Locking it out. Do a couple of wiggles. From here, we're going to make our way down to the floor. So at the top of your mat, go ahead and bring yourself to the top. Rise all the way up to your toes. Since our theme today is a little bit closer to balance, see what it's like to just be on your toes. As you inhale, your arms come out in front of you. As you exhale, you're slowly going to lower down, staying up on your toes as fast as you can. Going slow, going slow, going slow. Until your hips finally come to meet the earth. Keeping your knees pointed towards the ceiling. Feet together. What would yoga be without a little bit of core work? So from here, a couple of variations. You can place your hands right behind your hips. And you can gently lift your feet up off the floor into a 90-degree bend. You can also keep one foot down, one foot out. So whatever feels good for you today, your variation is good. Your body is right. Honor it for what it needs. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper in this variation, your hands are going to come to receive, palms facing up. Toes lift off the floor, finding yourself in a 90-degree bend. Chest lifted. Open. And breathe. Seeing if you can find that same smooth inhale and the same smooth exhale that we started our practice with. Even if your body is shaking. Take 2 more breaths. Filling all the way up. Exhale, everything comes to meet the floor. Leaning forward, give yourself a little squeeze here. Opening yourself back up. We'll do one more round of this, just for fun. If you've had enough, you can also just rest right here. That's totally fine too. Go ahead and find your variation. Maybe you take another variation just to try and see where your body is at. Maybe this time you straighten both legs out if that's available and your hamstrings. Feel free to play here. As you inhale, go ahead, enter into your pose and breathe. Open up your chest, sitting forward, shoulders down and back, connecting to your breath, breathing into your belly still, even though we've got a lot of core happening here. Challenge yourself to find your edge today. What brings you to your mat? And if it is to rest, maybe this pose is not for you today and you are just hanging out. One more full inhale with a pause at the top. Exhale, pause at the bottom. Everything comes to meet the mat. Give yourself a little squeeze here. Stretching both legs out in front of you. Arms straight out. We're gonna roll down to the floor until our spine meets the mat. So a little bit more core, just for fun, right? Exhale, slowly roll down until each vertebra hits the mat. Continuing to breathe. Exhale, let everything surrender into the mat. Give yourself a little wiggle just to kind of settle in. Shake it out. My back always takes a little bit of time to adjust when I'm in different poses and then I go laying flat. So if you need to just kind of settle in, take some time, breathe it out. From here, inhale your right heel up to the sky. Place your hands behind your right thigh. Head can come off the mat if you'd like, or you can keep it right here. We're just gently going to pull our heel up towards the ceiling and back towards our face. Giving a little bit more love to our hamstrings today. If available to you, maybe your hands reach up around your calf muscle, or maybe even the top of your foot. You're welcome to try any variation you'd like. It is okay if there's a bend in your knee. See what your body is looking for today and try that out. Breathing, expand into your belly. Exhale, surrender into the mat. Starting to feel and notice all of the different connection points of where your body meets the floor. Inhale, push your heel towards the ceiling. Exhale, allow your knee to come to a bend, giving yourself a squeeze right here, pulling into the chest. Your next exhale, you can send your leg long down the mat. Both feet come to the floor. Taking it over to our left side. Inhale, heel to the sky. Hands wrap around the back of the thigh. As you inhale, lengthen through your heel and pull your thigh towards your face. Again, option to have your head and your shoulders lifted off of the mat. Maybe your hands come behind the back of your calf muscle, or they reach for the top of your foot. Also, if you have a bend in your knee, it's totally fine. Let your body meet you where you're at today as you continue to open and surrender different layers that we hold on to. Inhale, expand into your belly. Pause at the top. Exhale, let it all empty out. Pause at the bottom. One more. Inhale, knee into your chest. Exhale, give yourself a squeeze. Your next inhale, send your leg long down the mat, allowing both of your heels to find the outer edges, corners of the bottom of your mat. Sway your hips side to side, letting everything get heavier on the mat. Move up your mid-body, your torso section, arms coming down at your sides, palm facing up. Adjusting your neck, head, and shoulders into the mat. Checking in where anything is holding on in your body, just let it go. Maybe you clench everything just once, squeeze really, 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 really hard. And as you exhale, surrender, letting everything just fall away. Allowing your eyes to come to a close. Just like we scanned our body at the beginning of our practice with our breath, starting down at your toes, moving all the way up to the tip of your head. What is your body saying now? If there's any areas that still need to be released, send your breath there and let it go. Letting your tongue peel away from the top of your mouth. Maybe putting a gentle part in between your lips. Allowing your eyebrows to melt and become soft. Smoothing out your cheekbones. And letting your face relax. As we set our final Shavasana pose, we'll be here for just a few minutes. The sound of my voice will bring you back to complete our practice. So allow yourself to just sink into your space, connect with your intention, your breath, and your heartbeat. Allow your breath to deepen, bringing your breath back into your belly. Bringing some gentle movements into your toes and your fingers. Slowly waking the body up. As you inhale, allow your arms to come up overhead. Taking a full body stretch, reach out. Exhale, surrender. Coming into fetal position, either on the left or the right side. Go ahead and take the left side if you'd like to stay grounded. The right side if you'd like energy. Bending your knees up towards your chest, rolling over to one side. Allowing your arm to become a pillow for your head. Pausing here to reflect on integrating your practice into your body. Allowing your practice to be a reflection of your life. And when you feel called, when you're ready, allow yourself to push slowly back up to seated. Bringing your hands to meet at heart center. Carry this peace with you throughout your day, throughout your weekend, wherever you're at. Know everything is okay. Allow your breath to become friends with your body, knowing you can always check back in with your practice of breath. That is also yoga. The love and the light in me honors the love and the light in you. Namaste, friends. And I want to thank everyone for joining today. Anyone who's watching later, I appreciate you checking out this channel, taking time to get into and explore your body. With everything going on right now, it's kind of hard to get out and about. So I really want you guys to be able to have access to yoga, to be able to move, to be able to ground, to be able to center within and calm the chaos that's happening in your external world and bring that inner peace right inside to where it belongs. So I also like to open up for just a few minutes after my classes if anyone wants to stay or have any additional chat. If you have experiences that happened, things that opened up in your body, anything that you want to share, you can go ahead and type that into the comments and let me know what your practice did for you today. And if you have to jump off and go, I also know and trust that whatever happened on your mat will translate in your life when you are good and ready to see it and experience it. So our next class will be, okay, I haven't set our classes for next week. Why don't we meet here tomorrow at noon Central Time. And it's my goal to get in as many days for you guys to have access to yoga, pretty close to daily. So if you want to begin a yoga practice, start a yoga practice, you've always wanted to check it out, come hang out with me here on YouTube. Let your friends know that you'll be hanging out with yoga. You can maybe do it together, even though we might not be able to be in the same space. This is as close as we can get to community right now. As you go throughout your day, remember to breathe deep into your belly. You're welcome, Jody. Thank you. Keeping that peace and that calm, that yoga glow that you have, take it with you throughout your day. All right, friends, I will see you very, very soon. Again, noon tomorrow is the plan. Noon Central Time, which will be 1 o'clock Eastern and 10 o'clock Pacific. Have a wonderful day. Take care, and I'll see you very, very soon.